Let's do this.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm pumped.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right, let's do this.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Now let's do this!
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the Coaching Life Podcast. My name's Pat Martin. I'm here with my friend Coach Chris Stewart. Coach, baseball season, brother.
Baseball season. You can tell because everyone is bundled up in their winter coats. You can tell that it's baseball season.
Right, yeah.
No,
That's true.
it's still good.
Well, that's
good. Still beautiful outside. So it is what it is here in this state. So we just play in it. Well, some teams play in it.
That is like it's like tradition for
It is.
Baseball in Ohio,
Yeah.
especially. It's cold. You play in cold weather. You play in snow.
And you know what? The truth is, when you're out there, you don't feel it. It does not feel the same as it does for someone who's walking from building to building to go to class, or someone who's getting out of their car and walking through a parking lot and going into a warm office, or someone who's just standing out, or perhaps someone who's sitting in a lawn chair watching their kids play. That might be miserable.
For sure, yeah.
But honestly,
Yeah,
we played last night, and I think the highest the temperature got yesterday was 37. And
Yeah.
the sun, by the time we played, the sun had cleared out, or the clouds had cleared out, and it was sunny. So game started at 5, and it was starting to get dark actually by the time we finished. But about midway through the game, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. In fact, I commented on it because I reminded our outfielders that it's a high sky right now. There is no, in terms of depth perception, there's no clouds up there to see the ball. So I said, you got to make sure that you keep moving. Don't just stand still. Keep those feet moving and get around the ball, get behind the ball, and help each other out. And they actually did a really good job. We missed one late in the game, but for the most part, they did a great job, playing in that. But there is, it is what it is. You got to play. You got to play.
Yeah, and go back to your point of the kind of being warm. That's exactly what you want to do in that case is continue to stay warm. Even you got guys that's not in the game. They might get up in between innings and take a jog to the fence or something like that.
Yeah, in fact, I heard one of my assistants last night saying, "Hey guys, you don't have to run as fast as you can down to that pole and back. You can jog actually." And they're like, "Nope, we need to get back in the dugout as quick as possible." Yeah, it was cold for them, but they all had jobs too, right? I mean, there's 16 guys in there, and they all have a job, and so they're all engaged in the game, and so they have their fingers, their hands might have been cold, but for the most part, it didn't feel cold for anybody, I don't think.
I never thought there's not a rule against having a portable heater.
No, there isn't. You can have one in there.
Yeah. Never thought about that. Something of all the, there's all these things you have to think about as a high school baseball coach.
Yeah.
Never thought about acquiring a
torpedo heater for the dugout.
Torpedo heater.
I actually backed into one year. For 2 years I was in the dugout with my daughter's softball team, and we had a scrimmage game where it was just absolutely horrible conditions. It was a Saturday midday, but it felt like it was dark. It felt like it was 8:00 at night because the sun never came out. It was freezing cold. We had talked about, do we really want to play this scrimmage? But it was our first scrimmage of the year, and we're like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, we might have to play in this, right? And so a real game. And so they had one of the dads had a torpedo heater, and he actually had 2. So he said, I'll put one in each dugout for both teams. That was a really nice gesture. And so that torpedo heater was in the corner of the dugout, and I'm standing there, and one of the girls was going out the dugout out near the exit from where I was standing, and I backed up, and I went, whoo, I just got hit by that heater, and it singed my pants, my coach's pants.
Oh.
I put a hole in those pants, and took off all the hair off my leg down there in that one spot. Yeah, it was you got to be careful with those things, but it felt good though.
I was thinking that you backed into it with your car.
Oh no, with my leg. But here's the irony, Pat. we're talking about last night and even today while we're recording. But if anyone happens to listen to this podcast episode on the day that it airs, they'll be thinking, it feels great today. It's supposed to be 80 degrees tomorrow.
Coach, I know. It's going to be a great day for baseball.
Oh, you got a game?
Yeah. Got a big one.
Who you got?
Actually, it is big for me in a number of ways, really.
It'll be
it's
your
my first official
high school baseball game.
Yep, as a varsity head coach.
That's exciting.
So that's big. Yeah, good stuff. But also because it's going to be the showdown, the coaching life showdown. Yeah, so it's going to be.
Yep, Megs versus
you guys
Eastern.
are. We've invited you over
Cross
to
County.
play a little baseball and over at Megs there, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Now, are we shaking hands after the game? Because I'm good with not.
Everybody knows that you're good with not.
How about what's going to be our pregame protocol? Are we allowed to look at each other? Are we just going to stay
Don't try
away?
to come over and chat me up before the game.
You want me to stay away? Okay,
not
good
into
deal.
that, no.
I'm glad we established that. I'll go over and talk to Dustin.
Oh, he'll chat you up. His job is to distract you. You see, Dustin has a job tomorrow night.
I got you.
Be a distraction for their head coach. No.
I think it's kind of unfair. You've already you'll have 2 games under your belt by the time that you.
Oh yeah, unfair. Let's talk. Okay.
The Pomeroy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll have had.
So we burned 2 pitchers last night already. Technically 3 because one may not be able to return. Well, he's definitely not going to return this week.
Yeah, I wonder if everybody knows that there's pitching rules in Ohio now, because that's something that's actually changed over the last few years. When did the pitching rule come into play? It's pre-2010, right? I mean, it was after 2010.
Oh, heck yeah, it was 2016 or 17. I want to say it was. I want to say it was Brock's senior year was the first year for the pitch count rules. The National Federation of High School Sports, so it's a national rule where there were some states that had a pitch count rule before that. I mean, or as early as possibly 2010. But the NFHS said that they wanted every state organization to install a pitch count rule for high school baseball. And so every state organization determines limits of pitches, or days of rest based on the number of pitches that are thrown. So
yeah,
we have 2 guys that went over the 50 pitch limit last night, so they're out for 2 days rest, and so they won't be available even if I wanted to, even if they could throw tomorrow. If they felt great and could throw, I couldn't throw them because of the rules. And then I have a third that had a partial separation that felt like with one pitch he threw last night in his shoulder, which is a really that's the one that. That's the one that gave me a nightmare last night. When you go to bed and you've got about 6 pitchers on your varsity staff and you already lost 3 of them and you got 4 more games this week. That makes you a little nervous.
Yeah.
So it just means you're going to throw guys that aren't technically pitchers. There will be times this week when we throw guys that aren't technically pitchers, and that's it is what it is.
That's high school baseball.
Who would have thought we'd get all these games in the first week of the season too? I thought. You're like, one of these will get rained out. Surely one of these will get rained out.
Well, and ours did. We were supposed to open Saturday at Parkersburg.
Well, yeah, the opening day game did for most of our state. There were a handful of people that played.
We got snowed out. That's why we didn't play, because the snow was too much on the field. We weren't going to be able to get the field ready by the time that we'd play.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
just to clarify that, so for the pitch count, for people out there that aren't aware, basically if a pitcher throws 31 pitches in a game, they have to rest.
He can't throw tomorrow.
A day.
Yes.
Can't throw the next day. If they throw 51,
have to rest.
They can't throw the next 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then anything over 75 is a 3-day rest. And then there's a cap too, 125 pitches. I heard a story about a team the other day, a junior high team actually, that their first game of the season, and they threw their pitcher 122 pitches.
Yeah, you have that. And that was a junior high game that doesn't
Actually,
fall
it's not
under
funny
the
at all.
the sanctioning of a state organization would be my guess, right?
I'm not for sure about that. I don't
Well,
know.
no, even still,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's still legal to do it. It's just dumb.
Yeah, you can
right?
throw 122.
Right? I mean,
yeah, that's the other thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, I know we probably have people listen that say, come on, toughen up, kids. We used to do it back in our day, right?"
We did.
We don't know that we did. Did you ever remember anybody counting pitches when you played? I
No,
played for
we
my
didn't
dad.
count
He was a
pitches,
great
but I
coach, but
know
I don't ever remember him saying, "Hey, you're up to 75 pitches right now," or "You're up to." We just didn't. It was innings.
But you know,
All the tournaments were
I mean,
innings, right? You're allowed to throw this
We
many
used to
innings.
have 10 innings, right? 10 innings a week. In high
Yeah,
school
there were
baseball.
there were inning rules, right? Yeah, and high school still had that rule as well.
So you probably had kids throwing what, 160?
It was 10
Probably.
innings. I think the inning rule used to be 10 innings in 3 days.
Really?
Something like that. Oh yeah, it was like a
was
3-day period:
ridiculous.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 10 innings.
Let me say this though, Coach. Oh shoot! Help me, Atlanta
Okay.
Braves, famous pitching coach.
Leo Mazzoni.
Yes, thank you. He believes that. Of course, he's old school. Obviously, he was.
Oh yeah,
he was old school.
I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
That throwing daily
Yes,
is the key to.
he says
And,
young pitchers, young kids today don't throw enough. Is his
Yeah.
thing, his argument. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think there's a part of that. But you know what, too? There's a difference between just throwing and pitching in a game.
Oh, you're not kidding. There's a difference between
Yeah.
even throwing a bullpen, pitching a bullpen, and pitching in a
There you
game.
go. Yeah. That's why you have an unfair advantage against us, because you guys you're in game shape, and my guys aren't.
Oh, come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you keep throwing that out there. No, there is
The
no
odds are kind of in your. Huh? I think Vegas.
What's
has you
the
plus
line?
2. We're getting 2 points. We're 2 runs.
2 runs?
Points. That's embarrassing.
There you go. There you go, baseball coach.
Well, I'm used to
You're-
used to thinking about that in terms of football. I don't know that I've ever mentioned Vegas in the context of baseball. Does Vegas bet on? Do they have?
You just don't
lines on
say
baseball?
anything about it. When your favorite player growing up was Pete Rose, you just don't say anything about it. Just don't. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a.
I find
different topic.
it awfully hypocritical that the NFL, the NFL, big time has just sold out to all their every other advertisement, every other commercial during an NFL game this year was what? One of those stupid betting sites, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And yet, I don't know. I mean,
Well, they figured out
I'm
they
not
could make money
necessarily
off of
against that. Yeah, right. Well, that's the thing is.
Well, my thing is this.
Somebody in the organization taking part of that, and there's a big hubbub about it.
Sure, but here's the thing. I mean, if you're betting for your team to win,
Well, I know that's what Pete said. I never bet on the Reds to lose. Never bet on the Reds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, if someone was betting against your own team and you were making decisions that would cost your team victories, and there's an integrity issue there.
Yeah.
But betting on your team to win, to me, there's no issue with that. None at all.
So you put some money down on this Wednesday's game then?
I typically don't bet. I don't bet on my team.
Yeah, I've gambled a few
Every
times
once in a while.
while waiting for an airplane. We went to a casino and I played a little bit of roulette. It's not something that is I don't find it that entertaining, to be quite honest, and so I knew it certainly wasn't going to become a problem for me. But I thought, you know what, I'd go out to a date and watch a movie and spend a little bit of money, and so I might, if I set aside this amount of money and say I'm going to stop here, I'll stop here, and so I did. I think I set aside $75, and I went in there and went down a little bit, won a little bit, and what I did was, when I had won like $80, I put that $80 in my pocket and then gambled with the rest of the $5. Or I put 75 back in my pocket and then gambled with 5, right? And it's just to see. Well, I lost it, and so I was done. But I went home even, right?
There you go.
So, yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Had a little fun and went home even. And I did eat at the buffet, so I was down $12.95 because I ate at the buffet.
Yeah, you got to count that.
It was about 2 in the morning.
Seen,
also, you have no idea what time it is when you're in there. In those
no, because it always looks the same.
It's
all dark when you come out.
We were in Detroit just waiting for a plane, and it was like a red eye. We were getting on a plane at 5:30 or something like that. And we're like, you know, let's just do this. Let's just go to the casino.
There's a. This isn't sports related. I guess it is a little bit sports related. There's an addiction to success with those games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
I think it's so it kind of speaks to I think our nature as humans that we want to do well. We want to succeed at things because I've seen I've been and I've never really I'm not a slot machine person at all.
That seems boring
have fun
to me.
with them at all.
Yeah.
But I've seen people just slide $20 bill after $20 bill after $20 bill in these slot machines, and just put literally hundreds of dollars, and then they'll win like 20.
Right, and
the machine will go crazy.
Yes,
it'll light up, and
it
and they'll be so excited.
That dopamine in your brain. Like I won.
I think
it does.
Yeah. And then they're like, okay, here's a couple more 20s.
Before you know it, you don't realize you're down a couple hundred, even though you won 20.
Exactly. Well, I won 20 today, but they don't talk about, it's actually scary. It's actually scary. I think maybe seeing that helped me stay away from it.
Right.
I don't know. I like to play Texas Hold'em.
Competitive people, I think it would be scary for because you could easily say, no, I'm going to win this. I'm going to win the next one. I'm going to win the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that in carnival games.
Oh yeah, yeah. I never got into those much either. The speed pitch.
Yeah.
I used to do the speed pitch, but that was about it.
Well,
hey, I won the speed pitch at Kings Island one year.
Really?
You know how you could win it by guessing your speed on the third throw, but then you could also win it by being the highest speed. And when I was 15 or 16 years old, it was probably 16 because I had just started dating April. Because she got this big, huge one, those big, huge stuffed animals that you can't even fit in the vehicle on your way back.
Yeah.
We were there we were on a youth group trip, and what I did was I stopped at the speed pitch and I went ahead and dropped like $5. I said I'm going to do this 5 times because the first 4 times I'm just going to throw to get my arm loose. I was smart, right? I wasn't just going to throw my arm out. So I threw about 15 balls, 15 throws, and then on the 5th one. I guess it would have been 12 throws. on the fifth one, my last one, I cranked it up and I threw 88 on my highest. I still didn't guess it right, but because I think I threw like 85, and I thought I'll throw 86, and I cut her loose and threw 88, and so they're like, oh, that's the high of the day, and so they put it up on a marker board. And I said, well, what's that mean? He said, well, come back at the end of the day, and when it's closing time, like, are you staying for closing time? I said, yeah, we're staying for the fireworks. He said, come back at the end of the day. If 88's still there, we'll put your name on it. You win, a prize of your choice. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And so I came back, and sure enough, it was still there. And got the some kind of big elephant, I think is what it was. And the youth group leader was mad because he's like, that's not going to fit in our van. She's got to leave that out. I'm like, no, she can't leave that out. So I don't know what she did with it. We'll have to ask her, I guess.
In a box somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever thrown 88 in 2 pitches combined.
Oh, adding them together?
Yeah, adding them together.
I used to be able to throw. I could get this little body going back in the day. I used to have a little body.
You can still throw. I'll give you that.
Throw some BP.
I think our Megs guys were talking about that the other day. And played in some of them played in
the adult league
men's tournament down there, and they're talking about Chase Whitlatch, the graduate, Megs alum that had a really, really, really good career at Megs, and saying how well he pitched. And then I don't know how the conversation switched, but they said, Coach Stewart threw really well down there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he did.
There you go.
He did.
Maybe I should throw tomorrow. You care if I did? Would you be okay if I pitched against you tomorrow? It's a non-league game. There's an intriguing thought. There's an intriguing thought.
No.
That's a nice compliment, Pat. I'll take that. I'll
Actually,
take
here's
it.
the deal. Here's what we'll do. You got to hit.
Oh, I'd love that.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you got to pitch all 7. You have no relievers.
Well, see, here's the thing. Whenever I throw at those adult games, I usually say to everybody, hey, I'm probably only going to go 3 or 4. And then what I
Yeah.
end up doing, going all 7.
But every time you get up to the plate, you're taking one.
Oh, is that what? That's the rule. Wear one.
Yeah. Well, I'm just letting you know ahead of time.
Okay.
So we're gonna
Yeah, I don't think
tenderize you a little
I don't
bit
think I'd like
as you're in your plate appearances. Try to wear you down.
Yeah.
This guy's got 12 pitchers ready to roll out tomorrow, and he's talking about pitching nightmares. It's ridiculous.
Not even going to respond to that.
Are we going to
What?
what's post game ceremonies like when 2 buddies coach against each other?
Well, there's the
That's
handshake.
high school. Oh, jeez. Now, see, I'm out.
It's that, you know, it's
Handshake, and
that
that's it.
gentlemanly nod. Hey, good game, good luck this year. Good game, good luck this year. Good luck this year.
Okay,
Yeah,
the same thing we do with everybody else, and just go for it. Just go on. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Do you mind kind of sizing up home plate there later? Like, tell me how it looks.
Your brand new, your newly installed, newly buried home plate.
Yeah,
I can see
Just
it
let me
now.
know
It's
what
on
you
your
think
green
about it.
screen on the through
It
the screen.
is.
It looks good.
I put that.
Yeah.
I put that in
Looks
there.
real
I got
good.
a new laptop for my.
Was it a
for
wood
work.
bottom or a waffle bottom?
It's a waffle
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you have? You had
It'll
success
settle
with the
a little
wood bottom
bit.
plate?
We had one wood bottom at Athens and it just rotted. I mean, it was a decent plate, but when it was time to change it, it came out in pieces.
I didn't really understand the wood bottom concept. Is it just heavier, or like what's the advantage
Probably.
of that? Because
That'd be my
they're more
guess.
expensive.
Yeah, I think
I feel like
I think it's a little heavier and it probably doesn't shift as much. I've noticed, like even ours at Eastern, if I put a level on it, I'll bet that it's not, that bubble wouldn't quite be in the center. I think it's shifted just a touch.
gotcha.
One side looks a little higher than the other,
Gotcha.
so I might need to tamp it a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
Those
that's why
plates take a beating. They take a
That's why
beating.
those Bulldog home plates are nice, because they're 40-some pounds.
Yeah,
So they probably shift a lot less
yeah.
than these ones. But
I'd
it's
say
a
the
nice
top
one.
of them
It's a
too are a
good
little
one.
bit more. It's a catch-22 because the more solid you make the top, the more likely you are to slip on it. So they rubberize those top of the home plates too a little bit, and it to make them have a little bit of give for the spikes, but then you have spike marks all over it. And so I tell you what's
Right.
good for those home plates: white field marking paint.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing
Just-
that anyway. We do that anyway.
just paint them up and let it be. You know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
Yeah, we do that
anyway.
anyway.
I mean, what's a plate for? It doesn't matter where the ball goes. It's going to be called a strike. Sometimes a ball, sometimes, whether it's over the plate or not.
That's true. That's true. You're right. You're right.
No,
It just-
our
it
umpires
makes it
did a
look
nice.
better.
Our umpires did a nice job last night. I thought there were a couple calls. I thought we had one runner that was safe. I thought that he called out, but other than that, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was early in the game, and other than that, I think everything in the field was pretty good. The behind the plate was consistent. I felt like it shifted a little bit, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Like it was consistently low early in the game for both teams. The zone was, and so we're like, hey, look, let's live down there. I'm fine with that. But the top of the zone
Absolutely.
wasn't there as much, and then later, I think and sometimes I think this happens as maybe umpires get tired too. It's the first game for them; they stand up a little bit more, and so the zone I felt like got higher as the night went on. But again, it wasn't just for one team, and it was so. And there was one time I felt like, and I'll tell you, I'll admit this. It was later in the game, and we had gotten a couple kids. One kid got rung up on a pitch that was a little below the nipples, a little below the letters on the and it was a little higher. And I thought, okay, that's it's an anomaly. He hadn't done that tonight. Let that go. Well, then in the bottom half of the inning, we had a kid down 2 strikes and threw a fastball, boom, right there in that same spot, and didn't get it. And I reacted a little bit. I'm like, and he looked over at me, and I said, the top of the zone was there in the other half. I said, we got to get that. And he just kind of put his hand up. And so we get out of that inning, and I walk over and head over his direction in between innings. And he said, Coach, you got a change? And he starts getting his card out. I said, no, I don't have any change. I said, I just want to let you know I apologize for that negative interaction. I said, I'm trying hard not to do that, and it wasn't necessary. And he's like, oh, we're good. Fist bumped me, and that was it. That was so. So yeah, here we are living the coaching life that we're trying to practice what we preach. Okay, just a few episodes ago we talked about umpires, and so there you go.
I'll get tossed in that Meg's Eastern game.
They're your umps, bud. That's your home game, so.
Yeah, which means absolutely nothing now.
There's no assigner for non-league games. The assigner is only for league games, isn't it? For TVC games.
I thought if they go through arbiter, whoever, I think if it's scheduled on arbiter, they assign the games to it. I thought maybe not. I know that you have.
I could be wrong.
Know that you have conference assigners.
Yeah, I think the assignment just comes. I think the assigner.
Well, who gets
schedules
the
umpires for the TVC games.
Director?
But I think the AD can reach out to them, or they can just sign up for it. The umpire can sign up for it.
Yeah. Oh, through arbiter.
Yeah, I've reached out to Anthony Sheets on a couple of occasions and said, hey, in fact, that home game that we're playing at the VA, I said, that's our home game. I said, if you're available, we'd love for you to do that. And so he was looking on it. He said, I'll look for it. And so I don't know if he got it or not, but because I like Anthony. Yeah.
I've only seen him call a couple games. He's top notch.
Well, he is, and I mean, he's not perfect, and he'll tell you that. Some guys I know have said that they think that his zone's too far outside. And it's like, well, at least you know, right? At least you know.
Yeah, right.
And
he's got passion. That's what I appreciate.
Yes, he has passion. He takes it. Everybody takes it seriously, but you can tell he wants to be better. He wants to be the best he can be at it, and I really, really like that.
Yeah,
he's asking you for improvements. He's asking me, like, hey, I want you to tell me, anything that you felt like I could have done better. I want to know. You don't get that from everybody, right? You don't get it from very many.
In life,
yeah,
you don't get that.
Yeah.
Right, let alone an umpire.
Well, yeah, and that has actually spurred me to do the same thing with him and with other umpires to say, hey, let me know if there's anything that I could do better in terms of our relationship. I want to make sure that that you're able to feel free, the freedom to do the best you can do, without having to worry too much about what's coming from our dugout. So I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about our team, our entire team. I'm responsible for our team.
Right. Yeah, that's good stuff. I think that's good. That's a good takeaway for other people listening there. That's something that's just one of those things. It's another part of the game, and especially considering what we talked about on our last episode of
it was our last episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, talking about nurturing that relationship with umpires and helping them. We're partners in the game, and keeping that communication open so that they know what you expect from them, and what they expect from you.
Yeah,
our umpires have been really, really good in the postseason so far. I haven't having any complaints at all, and there's they miss some, but I always think it's a moment always seems bigger than what it is. That's the problem. Yeah, because in a preseason game, it's like no big deal, but really, those things usually wash out. They wash out throughout a game, and they wash out throughout a season.
Mm-hmm.
Bad calls and things that go against you, it normally balances out. So, keeping your composure is the most important thing. I feel like we've talked a lot about arm care today, a little bit. Taking care of arms and pitch counts and things like that.
Yeah,
I think it's something that that as youth coaches and as travel ball coaches and rec coaches, we need to pay a little bit more attention to
as things get
understand
starting up. Yeah, for those.
And I would say that it's not. It's less about. I want to be careful saying this. The load, the amount of pitches that you throw is important, But I think what's more important than the amount of pitches you throw overall is the amount of days of rest that you have in between. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And that's the hard thing for youth
that's
teams.
What makes it difficult.
It's hard for high school teams. The only teams where it's easy for is where you have pitcher-only players. That's the only team that's easy to maintain that, that adequate rest period, because you have a routine after you've thrown building up to the next time you throw, and that routine is based on how many pitches you threw. The more you throw, you are very light the next day, and then you build back up. But you and I, well, certainly I'm assuming you as well, even your number 1, 2, 3, 4 pitcher is going to be playing another position the next day because you need him to, right? And a lot of times, some of your top pitchers are also your shortstop or your center fielder, or in some cases even your catcher, right? And heaven forbid if that's the case, but sometimes it is. For some, you got a school of 200 kids or less. Sometimes it is. It's what you've got. And that is really hard to navigate. That's what's making me nervous this week, to be quite honest with you. Because all of our pitchers have to play.
And not just this week, but over the course of the season, because that's the wear and the tear and the tired, getting tired, muscles get tired over, the length of the season and things like that. So the more you throw, the more you move, the more possible that is. So that's a valid point.
Yeah.
It's just something I think we need to think about. I know you do. It's something I've been thinking about for a while.
I worry about it, to be quite honest. I don't just think about it. Yeah. I do. I honestly worry about it sometimes, and not for the sake of safetyism. Like I want to make. I know kids are resilient, and it's just.
Well, no. Your job as a coach is put those guys out there at 100%.
Yeah, or as close to it as possible. Yeah,
as close to it as possible.
Yeah.
So when you make decisions based off of that, and even though they're good at 90%, you'd rather be at you'd rather be at 98, 99 than 90, or even 80.
And when you talk about decisions, when you talk about decisions, sometimes that decision is you're just not ready to play yet. You're one of our better players, and yes, tonight we have a game, albeit a non-league game, and we want to win every game we play, which means you want to put the best 9 that you could put on the field on any given night. But sometimes in this sport, you can't do that.
Right. No, you can't. That's true. That's the awkwardness about baseball lineups and substitutions too, because baseball is not the same as basketball or football, where you don't go to your bench as often. You don't go as deep into your bench as often as what you do in those other games. But in the same token, what we're talking about here is strategically shuffling it up to make sure that your guys are healthy.
Yeah, and it's not that basketball and football obviously don't have situations where they can't play kids because of injury, but we're not talking about injury either, right? You're not making a football lineup based on who's sore and who isn't.
Exactly.
Right? You put them out there because there's a difference between soreness and injury, and I get that as well. But in an overhand throwing sport, a sport that's dominated by overhand throwing, every player on the field, not just the quarterback, every player on the field is throwing with their overhand. And some of those kids are pitchers. Even though it's soreness, even though it's soreness today, tomorrow that soreness could turn into a separated shoulder, or that soreness could turn into a torn ligament in their elbow or something. And that's where
bottom line is they're not going to throw as well if they're sore either. You know what I mean? So the healthier they are, the better they feel, the better they're going to throw.
Yeah.
So that gets back to 100%, 80%.
There's just there are a lot of intangible things that I think people, well, they're not really intangibles. They're real things that sometimes people can think about that is going on. You know, what's a baseball manager do, right? Just sit over there and watch the game? Not really.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
That's what you hope to be able to do. Yeah, for real.
Run my coaching staff, run the show.
That's right.
The players play, and I just take notes, Coach.
There you go.
That's all I do. Have you been coaching third?
I have. I did last night.
I have not. We have 4 coaches on our staff. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, it's not that I couldn't. I just my role is there. I mean, everybody has a role, and that's where my role. I'm going to be there all year probably.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right. At Eastern, we'll be sure to, when we come to Eastern later in the year, be ready. Because while I don't promote chirping at other players, I 100%.
That's not what I hear.
Promote chirp. Oh, really? I'll let you hear it.
From you, from the man himself.
Did I promote it?
No, I'm teasing you.
I do promote chirping at Eastern coaches.
We promote chirping every week here on the podcast.
So you cut me off.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah. It's funny. People. I sometimes I wonder what people think when we're going through these conversations, because this one's a little scattered. But we've already been talking for over an hour now. We just haven't hit the record button.
Podcast is not going to be over an hour, but we have. I think we talked for an hour before we turned it on.
Yeah. Giddy. It's a great time of the year. I'm not even noticing the cold, to be honest with you. I'm just out there.
It's 10 degrees warmer today than it was yesterday, and it's still cold.
Oh yeah,
today.
yeah, it is. It's like summer out there today. But.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, you have a game tonight.
We do. Another
Blue Devils.
Another non-league
game or home game?
It's home for us. It's our first home game.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Home game. I would come scout, but I'm going to be doing judging at the track and field meet tonight at Meg's for the high jump. I'll become a professional high jump judger. I don't know if you knew that.
Did not know that.
Possibly the worst.
Jack of all trades, aren't you? How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that while you're practicing your team?
I got a plan, bud.
Okay.
I got a plan. Don't worry. It's well covered. But Blue Devils, Galplis coming to Reedsville tonight.
Yeah,
Good
I think
we're
expecting them to be a pretty tough opponent. Looked like they.
No, I think they're going to.
Looked like they whipped all 4
good
scrimmages. They beat some good teams in scrimmages. Now scrimmages are really tough to go by because we didn't win a single one of ours. But I think that depending on how you approach a scrimmage, right? I mean, bat the roster, pitch a different guy every inning, things like that. It's hard to get into kind of rhythm. But yeah, I mean they looked like they handled Waverly really well. They beat Minford, Zane Trace, Adina, I think, those 4. And those are all 4 good ball clubs. Those are baseball schools right there.
I just know those kids. We've played baseball against them coming through the youth leagues, and they've got a good group. They've got some leaders, both verbally and through action, and they're just I think they have a lot of energy right now. And
yeah, I have heard that they are slated to win their, what are they, in the OVC, I think.
Yes.
I don't know who all's in that league, but I think that they're people who have talked about baseball.
They're going to be really
baseball,
tough to beat.
Expect them to win that league.
They're going to be a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got a good pitching staff. They got Zane Loveday, throws really well.
College prospect, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're gritty. They compete, and they expect to win. Yeah. I can tell you that. Yep. They've been well coached too, coming up. So it's a good group. It's a good group. Yeah. But hey, got to play the game, right? So go get them.
Heck yeah.
Good luck with that.
Thanks.
We'll be waiting on you.
I know you will.
Make sure you get a hot dog at the concession stand. They're really good. You're not going to do it? Okay.
Yeah, probably not. If I get a hot dog, it's going to be post game down at McClure's. Yes.
These rival McClures.
Oh, come on now. Get thee behind me, Pat.
But I'm just telling you. They're good. They're good.
Are they on the grill? Are they grilled
That's right.
wieners?
I'm going to give you the secret. Hold on a second.
A secret to a hot dog?
There
A
is a
tube
secret.
steak?
Hold on a second. I don't even know if I can relay this information to you.
Oh, wow.
You gotta
The
you gotta
secret hot
pause.
dog recipe.
Yeah.
It's an all beef dog. He muted himself. He's asking somebody if he can say this, folks.
I'm asking the concession
The chef,
stand,
the concession stand
manager.
chef.
These hot dogs. Here's the key.
They're guacamole, aren't they?
I don't know what that means.
That's what they serve in, is it Cincinnati?
What do they do with them?
Maybe it's Pittsburgh.
How do
Is it
how do they
Pittsburgh?
make them?
Guacamole? It's just a brand of all beef hot dog that they have at the
Oh.
stadium.
These are all beef hot dogs, but they're fried.
Oh, they toss them in the deep fryer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they got the sauce, homemade sauce. Good stuff, man. I'm telling you, you're missing out. So pick one up. Pick one up when
So
you're
when I
out.
come to watch your tournament game later this season, so when we get into May and you guys are playing in the district tournament, you're hosting your first district game after winning the sectional tournament. I will pick up one of those homemade deep fried hot dogs at the Meigs
might be really
high school
expensive then.
concession stand. You think inflation's going to rise?
I'm just saying the demand for them are going to be fever. I mean, it's going to be up, fever pitch. It's going to be as high as it can be.
No, I'll take that.
There
I'll take
the
that
stuff.
chance.
You get some French fries though; they'll always be there.
French fries. What the heck? You guys got
What?
What is this? PNC Park we're going to play at?
Yeah, man, we're hitting on all cylinders.
All right.
Stuff.
Good deal.
Now,
You got souvenir
looking
cups
forward to seeing
too?
you.
Souvenir
What is
cups
it?
with your seniors all plastered on it, and I can
No, but that's a
buy a
good
souvenir
idea.
cup
I'll
full
probably-
of French fries for $6.95, and then take it back to the concession stand to get it refilled for $1 later.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
might.
I'm giving him all kinds of ideas, everybody.
You've got
All
good
kinds of
ideas.
ideas, yeah.
You've got good ideas.
Yeah.
We should get together and do some kind of promotion.
We should.
Marauder Eagle promotion. I don't know. I tell you,
Yeah.
it's another one of those things you gotta figure out.
Nah,
You don't.
not me. Yeah.
Well,
I'm
neither
okay
do
without
I.
it. Yeah.
Neither do I because my.
I love
and-
it if somebody else wants to do it, but I'm not doing it. I mean, like I said, one thing that I thought that I would take on and make sure it happens, but it gets knocked off the priorities list. It's like, no, I've got to say no to some things. Is
Yeah.
team meals before games, especially away games where you don't have a lot of time to go grab something or whatever. And I brought that up as maybe a team parent. Hey, I need a parent to just head this up and do it. Don't even need to ask me. I'll give you some recommendations on what kind of food to get. I mean, your kids are all athletes. You know what we're talking about. The kinds of food we're talking about. And it's going to happen. We got a team mom that stepped up and organized it. But that's the kind of thing that I think that's important. Nutrition is vitally important, especially athletic nutrition, performance nutrition. And so, but it's just, you got to get batters boxes on the field too, and things like that. So,
I feel you. I hear you. I tell you, I'm very fortunate because I have a lot of people out there doing a lot of work. But I'll probably say this
there's a
again,
lot of
but
energy out there.
Yeah, my concession stand manager is actually. She's not only very good at handling the concession stand, but she's a very beautiful lady.
Whoops.
Did you not get that recording?
Did you hear my phone ringing?
Uh-uh.
Oh, I know it's coming through that's weird. I don't know. I've got it on mute, and yet it was ringing. It's like a FaceTime.
No, I didn't hear
Somebody
it.
butt dialed me or something. Anyway, yeah, your concession stand chef is also some beautiful woman. What do you?
She is.
Well,
is. And she
there's
also
only one
handles
person
her-
that better be that you're talking about right now.
Well, I'm not going to leak it because, like I said, I'll probably have to, have a lot of thank yous later in the season. But also has the meal plan figured out as well for our travel games. So, but we have our parents we have a good group of parents too.
Heck
so
yeah.
It's been a
And
really
the coach's wife is also a team mom, and so there's that little extra incentive right there.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of our coaches' wives has been a point person for us. Yeah, right. I was really assuming that was the case that you were talking about your wife. But one of our Dustin's wife's really taken on a lot of responsibility for us, and their oldest kid doesn't play. I mean, their oldest kid's a daughter that doesn't play in baseball, but their oldest son
awesome.
is 12 years old, so he's not gonna. They're not going to personally benefit from it, doing it, but they've really stepped up. It's good to have great people that really just enjoy helping, enjoy just serving the programs. So yeah, I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to worry about our fundraising at all. Our T-shirt fundraiser, she's handled everything, all the interaction with the vendor and everything.
That's why we're actually in negotiations to bring her to Meg's. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
so you just broke so I'm going to turn you in.
No, that's a
because you're recruiting their son is what you're trying to do.
No,
so I'm going to turn you. That's what it's going to go down as on the when I send in the report. It's going to go down as that.
Okay, listen, we can figure this out. I'll leave Tanner, but I'll take Jennifer and Dustin. So like Dustin equals everything out. You know what I mean?
Is that what it is?
Very tough one. You know what I'm saying? It's like a cost payment.
Hey, listen to this. Hopefully Jennifer doesn't listen to the podcast, because if so, Dustin's going to be in trouble. He told me last night he bought Tanner 2 more bats.
Speaking of addiction.
Yeah, he knows it. He said, it's an addiction. I can't stop. That kid has 16 or so bats. It's unreal. I said, does he use all these bats?
Let's see. Which bat am I going to use this time? Like they're radaring the pitcher.
And what's funny is I think the cheapest of the ones that he's bought has been his favorite so far. It's like a 3-year-old bat.
It's all about feel, man.
It is.
Oh no, I know why. Because that's
that orange Mako.
Yeah. That's everybody's favorite.
Is it illegal or something? Is that why it's?
Oh, they're just hot. I would say the other bats now that are USSSA are just as good as those. But for a long time, those orange Makos, which I think was the 2015 version, were just
that's old.
hottest.
That's very old then. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's still legal to play in travel tournament, youth tournaments with those?
Yeah, it is now, because they came with the USA label to kind of counter that, but none of the tournaments. I mean, USSSA is one of the biggest sanctioned bodies. So they're gonna continue to sponsor their stamps, and none of the tournaments really picked up on those USA bats.
So let's just give it. So here's a PSA for everybody out there that has young kids. Then let's help people out here and give them the honest truth about these bats and bat companies. You do not need the latest and greatest bat. Your kid does not need the latest and greatest bat. What they do every year is they use the same alloy. They may change one little molecule in it, right? But it's the same alloy or the same composite metals that they're putting in the bat. Change the paint job, jack the price up another $50, and now you're paying $499 for a bat that actually 3 or 4 years ago is the same exact bat. In fact, a composite bat, a bat with composite material, can actually get hotter the more you use it.
Yeah.
That's why people in softball world roll this. What is it? Slow pitch bats. They roll those composite bats to make them hotter. What are you doing? You're rolling a bat. You're essentially hitting off of that thing on every angle, on every part of the round bat, 100 and some times. And that's what they tell you. After 100 swings, quarter turn. After 100 swings, quarter turn. And you're making it hotter. So the older the bat, the better it is.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the newer bats actually aren't made as well. That's what Easton did with their Makos. The 2015 Mako was actually a better bat than the 16 and 17 because the barrel was extended longer.
Yeah,
it had a bigger sweet spot.
Yeah,
so it was a better bat.
So your margin for error on that bat was greater or was lesser. Did I say that right?
From a performance perspective. The other bats performed the same. However, the sweet spot wasn't as big. The barrel, we were looking at them one day, and noticed it. We're like, look at this. It's a shorter barrel. And it
Oh,
was. It
one of those
off.
bats he showed me looked like a softball bat, where the barrel starts way down by the handle and goes. That
Yep.
must have been it.
That's the Mako looks
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
It's a
so I
good-
just
it's a good bat.
in all honesty, if you got a kid, I mean, there's so many options out there today. You could spend $300 on a bat if your kid's 12 years old, but you can also go on eBay and find one of these 5-6-year-old bats that somebody doesn't want anymore because they've duped their parents into thinking that they need a new bat, and you could buy them a bat that's actually going to perform better than the kid that's getting the brand new bat.
Yep. And I've always said promote feel. Because
Yes.
if a kid gets up to the
Hold it
plate
in
with a
your hand.
bat that he really likes,
I don't care what it is.
doesn't matter what
Yeah.
it is, you're going to take that over everything. Mm-hmm. It's mentality.
Yep.
Feel good up there. You're gonna perform well. And you're talking what 20, 30 feet max on the difference in performance. And I mean,
Yeah.
how much is it really going to matter?
Yeah, I had a-
The ball's going to get through the infielder quicker and stuff like that. But still, what's the cost of sending a kid up there with a bat that he really likes?
Yeah.
Compared to a
and he
bat
can
that
hit on
he
the
has.
barrel more often than not because that's a factor
Right.
as well. I mean, the only reason that ball's going to go a little faster is if you hit it on the barrel. Well, if it doesn't feel good and you're not hitting it off the barrel, it doesn't really matter at all anyway.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we stuck a little.
I used to have a
little
friend that
piece
said it's hey, listen, every time a kid would choose a different bat, he'd pull him aside and say, hey, you know something? It's the Indian, not the arrow.
of- There we go.
The problem,
That's true.
yeah, the solution to the problem is it has to do with the Indian, not the arrow. It doesn't matter what arrow you choose. You're the one that still has to shoot it.
For sure. Good stuff. All right, Coach.
All right.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you.
Have a day tonight.
Thanks.
Enjoy it.
Oh, always.
Looking-
Playing baseball.
looking forward-
Always enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, boy. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, man.
No doubt. We'll see you
As
then.
of this moment, we're not friends until Thursday.
All right, flipping the switch.
See you, Coach.
I hate you.